What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Stranded Deep. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here today, although a little bit down. I'm a little bit underwhelmed, so I actually spent a little bit of time. It's been 3 or 4 days since I recorded last, and I just wanted to hang out and talk for a minute about the motorboat. So we built the motorboat, and it's really, really slow. I looked that up, and from what I understand, somebody told me on the forums that there's a confirmed bug that when you refuel it, it goes slow. I then said that, well, you know, I didn't refuel it, it's brand new already. And he said, well, there's different boats of different speeds. It's just sort of where did that fall? There it is right there. I was going to say, I have no idea where that coconut fell off. And so I think that I should probably, let's take a couple of these guys right here. But actually, I think the thing we have to do today is we got to go out and find some more coconuts. I think we're going to be running out of water pretty soon unless we get it taken care of. We got a couple of buckets that we can fill up with seawater, I guess, and then we could also put it over our fire, which is over there, but I don't want to burn through sticks that rapidly, so it might not be our best plan. Let me crack open a couple of these guys real fast. We'll get all of our random stats taken care of, and then after that, we will be off to the races, I think. What races, I'm not really too sure. Really, whatever race. I mean, it could be like a horse race or like a dog race, or doesn't really matter to me. I have a gambling problem, but anyways, we'll go back. I'm just joking. I don't have a gambling problem. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. All right, so we got these. Let's go ahead and shove those into our mouths. Pretty good to always shove something into your mouth at the outset of an episode. That's how you do it. We'll throw that over there. Did it go anywhere? Oh my god. I think that... What is going on? You have got to be kidding me, kitten. You have got to be kidding me. The kitten stepped on the power button for the computer. Kitten stepped on the power button for the computer right now that is recording my audio. You've got to be kidding me with this kitten. He climbs up the side of it because it's got like a... So the computer that I have that I record on 2 separate computers. So I got one that's getting the audio right now, and then I got one that's getting the video. And so the one that's down on the floor, it's got like this wire mesh on the side from the case. And so basically he climbs up the side of the case and I can hear him doing it. Typically, he doesn't hit the reset button, though. That time was definitely a major, major foible. He almost destroyed an entire episode. Kitten, what are you doing right now? He's like, I hate YouTube. Destroy. YouTube, take daddy's attention. Destroy. So we need a compass, too, so that I can be aware of the direction that I'm swimming in. I think we're also sick, which is all kinds of bad. I should probably eat some more food, too. I don't really want to light a fire right now. But I think we're out of coconuts. Like, seriously, I think we are out of coconuts, like 100%. And so I think that since they've actually lowered the amount of coconuts that you can get your hands onto at this point in the game, I think the next thing that I want to do with it, the coconut right there, let me throw it on the floor. If you're especially talented, you could throw it downwards like that and it'll break it, but I don't know. It's got like a feel to it. You got to figure it out. Actually, I don't know what's going on right now. I think my audio computer is trying to set... Maybe it wasn't the kitten. I don't know. My audio computer's trying to shut itself down right now over and over and over again. Like, I might have to, like, deal with this throughout the course of the entire episode. We'll pick a direction right here. So let me see where my compass is at. I'm just going to pick a direction. And west sounds good. Well, there's a lot of islands that way. It might get sketchy. You want to go in a cardinal direction, so I'm just going to pick one. We're going to go straight to the south, maybe? That works. I don't see anything to the south. It might be sketchy to go to the south. But I figure we go to the south because of our flippers. It'll actually be pretty easy for us. That island right there is directly north. So maybe I'll do that. That's the only one that's actually lining up perfectly. And so if you wanted to orienteer yourself successfully, you should always go in the cardinal directions first. Because we're sick, I think we need antibiotics or something like that. I don't know what fixes being sick. Vitamins or antibiotics. Maybe I should do that while I'm back at home too. Hold on. Let me take a look here and let's see what we can accomplish. Pills? Where are you, pills? Would you like to help me out with my problems? My lungs are filling up with all kinds of fluids. You want to assist? No, you don't want to assist? Did I leave my pills somewhere else? Damn it. I knew I should have got an organizer. Okay, apparently I left my pills somewhere else. Or I didn't bring them with me in the first place because I was like, man, those are useless. I don't need those. Why would I ever need some pills? Okay, let's just go to the north. I'm sure we'll find something good out here. And so to the northward island we go. Yeah, we actually swim faster right now than our motorboat goes. Apparently there's some bug or something that you can do that'll make your boat go like insanely fast if you like leave the paddle down in the bottom of it or something like that. I'll probably start playing around with that in just a minute, or I may just change the swim speed so that I can swim faster. You can do that through the INI files, make things go faster. But I'll see when we get to the northern island. We're just going to go north for a while. Just north, 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 and then once we run out or we get bored, we'll come back south. We'll get back home, start working on some other things. But for right now, we need to start worrying about our food situation. So I will see you when we get there. Alright, so we're coming up on the island to the north. There is the distinct possibility that we may not be able to get anything from here. I've actually picked clean a lot of the islands around the central area, but there's a lot of like, oh, there's a shark over there. Oh, good, just what I was hoping for, and he's right in the way, too. Troublesome. Let me get my machete out real fast. It's odd that it didn't play the music. I think we can outswim him, though, if we just keep going. I really, really feel unnerved about swimming everywhere, but this is actually helping me out. It's like exposure therapy for me and my fear of sharks. So it's working out pretty well. A shark that size, I don't think would actually bother a human. They gotta be at least, like... Where's he at? Well, he's out there somewhere. Either way, I'm not gonna label him for right now. I think we need a little bit more food, though. Let me chop up one of these potato plants real fast, because I was looking at my vitals. Indeed, don't look at your vitals too much in public areas, though. People tend to get weird about it. They'd be like, oh my god, is that guy looking at his vitals right now in public? Like, that's not my vitals. Anyways, oh, there is stuff over here, isn't there? There's a couple buckets of seawater, just in case you wanted those. There's an air tank. Okay, so we picked this one clean. That's perfectly fine. That's what I was actually ready for. But instead, now what I'd like to do is any tree that has coconuts on it. Actually, none of them seem to have coconuts on them. That's a little bit worrying. Well... how do we deal with this situation? I've never been in this situation before. There are no coconuts on the trees. They are unadorned. It's a little bit of a downer. That one's got a couple on it, so there we go. Couple of coconuts. Let's chop this bad boy down. I'm going to start gathering all the coconuts and throwing them on that side so that when we come back, we can actually have a big pile of coconuts right there, and I can spend a bit of time running things back and forth. We're not going to be using the motorboat, by the way. We've talked about this already because it's slow. Unfortunately, I guess there's some randomness to the amount of health with like the engine or something like that. And so when you build yourself a motorboat, it varies. So some of them are very, very fast. Some of them are very slow. In addition, there seems to be some bug where when you refuel them, sometimes they end up slower than they were initially. It's just kind of like this odd situation where I've got this groupthink thing going on where I've been talking to people on the forums, but I'm not sure who to believe because there's been no developer sort of interaction in those conversations. And so, go ahead and pick these coconuts too. There we go. There's 3 of those. Okay. How many do we have up there? 1. Not enough for me to like warrant sitting here trying to climb the tree and breaking my legs, because I like my legs just the way that they are. Nothing on that one either. This little guy though, there we go. We'll reach up and grab that one. Seems to be alright. Nothing else. So when we go back south, where's my compass at? Break out the compass. And so there is the direction to the south. We will throw all the coconuts on this side, perhaps even entertaining the thought of bringing 1 or 2 with us later. I don't know. Seems like we'll do okay. There's not a lot of stuff over here, but that should be good enough for right now. It is what it is. Got 6 coconuts. I think that should be enough to sustain for a little while, but not forever. And in finding our directionality, do we have anything else directly to the north? We have something at 340 north. I suppose that's close enough. It's a little off-center, though. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to swim over to here, and while I'm out there, I'm going to jot myself down a little note, and I highly recommend that you do this whenever there's a slight variation in your trajectory. It's just a great way to keep yourself from getting lost. And so we went straight north. This time we went 340 north, and I showed how to do this in the first series. I don't remember exactly what episode it was in, but I showed you how to make like a little diagram of what direction you're swimming in. But anyways, I'm going to do that on a piece of paper. I'll see you when I come back when we get to this next island, because there are things to get done here, and I want this to be a very profitable, I want this to be an engaging episode where we get out there and we get things done. And unfortunately, swimming in between locations is not that engaging, so I'll see y'all in a minute. This island actually turned out to be ridiculously close. I've been going now only for like 8 or 10 seconds maybe. I've been swimming, and this one's actually right on top of the other island, so it wasn't that bad getting over here. I didn't even need to make a cut. It wasn't even that long, so there you go. I don't mean to be insulting to the duration of your trip, but it just wasn't that long. It wasn't enough to entice me. We'll jump up onto some rocks over here. Yes, I love to spend some time on the rocks every now and again, although I don't get to do it that often anymore, just because I'm on a medication right now that won't allow me to drive. Survival, it's so literally labeled, survival compass. You can make it talking like, so, I flew in the other day, and boy, were my arms tired. Oh my god, island craziness. Island craziness. And so if we wanted to go back home, actually what you would do, and so remember how we went 340 north to get here? You subtract 180. That's it. And so 180, so 340 minus 180, that's going to put you at 160. So there's our island right there. It actually turned out to be about 330. Anyways, figured I would explain the trick for anybody that didn't know how to use a compass. I think it is a valuable skill. You never know. You never know. And learning to do it is something that really doesn't take that much time. Got some duct tape right there, so that's looking pretty good. We're going to try and investigate some wrecks out here. If I can get down to the bottom of the ocean on this side, I know I saw something. There it is. Alright, so let's surface for some oxygen. We got ourselves another compass right there since it already stacks with the one that we have. I don't really know why we would need two compasses. We can make ourselves like some compass body armor or something. But we got another propeller right there. I do think that it's a good idea that we collect as many engine parts as we can. Oh. Actually, let's bring that instead of the Band-Aid. I don't think we're going to need it. Don't think we're going to need it. And so we'll bring this back this way. What I like to do is I like to associate all the loot in the spot that goes back to the location that we were coming from. And I'm actually really, really stoked that this island wasn't that far off. We just got all jittery right there. Did I mention our character has Tourette's? It's unfortunate and does get in the way of our survival, but we've learned to deal with it. Swearing at the shark seems to be one of the few things we can actually control anymore. We'll go. I needed, so it was, which way did we come from? We went 330 north. So the opposite is going to be 170 in this direction. So that would appear to be our island right there. That would take us back the way that we came. We actually got 3 parts from right there. If we can find another carburetor, we can just make ourselves another engine. We can just gamble and hope that the next one's fast enough, which is actually sort of what I was leaning towards. I think that that was definitely what I had in mind when we came out on this adventure. Take a look at our vitals real fast. I'd like to keep them up a little ways. And, of course, while on this island, let's do the wreck diving first, I guess. I think that'll probably be the quickest way for us to get this done. Yeah, we'll do the wreck diving first. I'm really sincerely hoping that that's our island right there. I think it is. Yeah, it's just lining up weird. I don't know. It's easy to get disoriented, and the number one thing you got to watch out for when you're in a situation like this, second guessing yourself. Seriously, it happens, and you got to watch out for it. Pick some cocoa nuts right there. We fell off the tree, which is why I never climb all the way up, ever. I just get close enough to where I can pick, and you never climb a tree that tall. Don't do it. Breaking your ankle in a survival situation, death. You die. That's it. You might as well call it death. I mean, I'm not saying you could struggle and try to get through the adversity or whatever, but, you know, spraining that ankle or breaking a leg, that's a sizable handicap to inflict upon yourself when you're already struggling as a modern human being to make do in a very, very primitive situation. Got a lighter right there. Just in case we wanted to, I don't know, set the ocean on fire or something. We've got another wreck over here. I am watching out for bubbles, but they're hard to spot at this time of day. We may want to give it a go and see if maybe we can get in there. Let's see. That's not what I wanted to do. That was the last thing that I wanted to do. Alright, well, we'll go in over here anyways. We'll see what we can accomplish. I was actually looking for my flashlight, which appears to be maybe not. I don't know. I'll play with it in just a minute. Nothing down in here, although it is a, oh, there's a stingray right there. You want to label a stingray? Let's label a stingray. His name will be Biffa. There we go, Biffa the Stingray. Huzzah, Biffa the Stingray. He's just stoked that he got a normal name and that I didn't name him the lamest stingray ever. Like, oh, thank God. Thanks, Stingray Jesus, I didn't get a terrible name. You don't even know. The other stingrays, they would have teased me so much. You're really the only interesting thing that's going on here. As a stingray, let me just say for a second, let me just say that, you know, it's pretty boring out here. There's not a whole lot going on. Us stingrays being labeled is basically the high point of our lives. So if you want to label us, we're okay with it. Go ahead. It doesn't bother us one tiny bit. I'm going to swim out to this island over here. I'll see y'all when we get back. It's going to be at 10 degrees north, so if you're making a map along with me like I am, I highly recommend that you do. This would be the time to annotate that. Well, we had a considerable setback along the way. A thunderstorm actually hit in here. If we hadn't had a compass, this would have actually been a very, very delicate situation. But since we had a compass, what you need to do in these situations, you need to trust yourself. A lot of people, when they first start working with compasses, or they don't know how to use a compass, and you need to trust yourself, though. Trust your reading, trust yourself. Check and triple check it, obviously, just to make sure. But when you start second-guessing yourself when it comes to measurements, that's when you really, really, really get into trouble. Because then you sit there measuring things like 130 times in a row, and then you're really just not time efficient. So, take your measurement, keep your heading on, and you'll probably be okay. Don't panic when little setbacks like this happen. I think our temperature is, actually, we're a little bit hungry right now. Let's see if we can let's see if we can track down some dinner, shall we? I don't see any coconuts up and in there. Nothing in that one. Looks like these two have the things that we desire. Well, one. Kind of going for like maximum bang for my buck right now. There's a couple up there. There we go. That's a good one. That's a good one. Pop these on out real fast. Climb back on down the tree. Grab a couple of these bad boys before they float away. And that's actually part of the design of a coconut. The way that a coconut is designed, or I'm guess not designed, the way that a coconut is adapted. There we go. That's the word that I was like fishing for in my head. The way that a coconut is adapted is that it's meant to fall, roll down the sand dune, get in the ocean, float around. And that's how it spreads itself all throughout island chains and things like that. Although I will point out that a lot of things like coconuts actually are not from tropical climates. They were brought there by other peoples. So, whereas most people tend to think about like, for example, in Hawaii, they think about palm trees and things like that. In the case of a lot of tropical islands, palm trees were actually imported. So interesting things to think about right there. Things that I don't think most people think about. We're sitting in the rain right now. This totally sucks. Well, since we came here at like 10:15 north, that puts us at 190 south, which means that our island is more than likely off in this direction. Looks like the storm just keeps getting worse, too. I'm like, God. I don't know. Tell me about it. This storm is absolutely... Oh, it's so dark right now. I can't even do my little joke right now. It's so dark out right now. Compasses are afraid of the dark. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before, but yeah. Totally lame. Compasses don't like the dark, so hold me close. Hold me to your breast. Well, that's a little bit creepy, Compass. I think you might want to hold up. My God. A little bit of illumination would help here. See if I can track down my key for... What was the damn key for the flashlight? Was it like the T key or something like that? There we go, is the R key. I don't know, it's been a little while. It's better than nothing, I guess, but only just barely. I threw one of my compasses on the ground. That's okay, we can litter in the ocean. And I litter you into the ocean. And that's how we dispose of our refuse. Welcome to humanity. As soon as this storm blows over, we should be good. But for right now, let's focus on being productive. I think that maybe chopping down some trees is a great way to get started. Once again, I absolutely appreciate the fact that for right now, they've actually made it so that the flashlight is part of your HUD. Like, you can use it whenever you want once you pick one up. I love that. It makes me super duper happy. Now, in chopping those down, the only thing that I was interested in are the coconuts. Grab those so we can start stacking them in the right direction. We can't really go anywhere or do anything right now until our visibility returns. So, I'm just going to chop down trees and get coconuts. It's kind of like the island equivalent of get money, but, you know, keeping it real right now. Keeping it real up in the island hood. We'll grab that on that side. Green coconut from there. Keep on chopping. If I really need to later on, we can come back and get these trees, I guess. You can't fly trees or do any fun stuff like that anymore, unfortunately. It's just not a thing that's in the game. I know that you can glitch it to happen somehow, but the developers have made it so that you fall through anything when you crouch or like when you try and get on top of stuff, and so, no, it doesn't work so well anymore. A couple of coconuts. What are we rocking right now? 10 coconuts? Okay. Well, let's get started with feeding ourselves, shall we? So I'm going to go through. We'll pop some holes in these little guys. Ah, I'm being sundered. The last thing coconuts ever like is being sundered. Like, it's seriously, in the manual for being a coconut, there's a section on avoiding being sundered. They do not enjoy it at all. I'm like, no! The thundering sound of my sundering. The sundering is coming. Witness me. Let's go. I'm going to make the Mad Max reference real fast because that movie was so legit. I saw it last weekend, and I was so happy about it. Like, I kept looking over at my girlfriend, too, because it's one of those movies that, like, I tried to explain to her what Mad Max was because she's never seen the originals. And I was like, if you've never seen it, it's going to be really, really hard for me to describe. So it's in the future where the world has ended, and it's people with, like, hot rods in, like, this tribal culture fighting each other with weaponized hot rods, like, in the desert. And there's all kinds of, like, sandstorms, and they're fighting over gas and water. And they're all ignorant and, like, primitive, and they have no idea, like, how anything works. They, like, worship their machines and things like that. I was like, it's a hard movie to describe, but it's an action movie. And she really likes stuff with, like, for example, like, the transporter and things like that. And so I figured she would probably like it. I'm not going to throw the coconuts for right now because I'm afraid I'm going to lose them. I'm just going to use the machete on them. I'm sure we'll find more. This is, like, the longest storm ever. Like, oh, my God. This thing is lasting a while. We've been stuck out in this thing for days. I think this might turn into one of those episodes where we just don't accomplish anything or they're stuck in a rainstorm. I wanted to find one of those fortresses or one of the wells. I heard that there was actually, like, oil rigs out here somewhere. But anyways, back to my story about Mad Max. Took her to see Mad Max, and I kept looking over at her just to like gauge her reaction, because you can't really predict whether or not somebody's going to get into something like weird like Mad Max, because it is an odd universe to like exist in and to toy around with. And so anyways, I kept looking over to gauge her, but she enjoyed it. She was sitting up in her seat. That was an action-packed movie, though. As far as like directing and acting and everything else goes, like they really locked it down with regards to just keeping the movie moving at all times. Like there was just always something going on screen, you know what I mean? Like it was always hustling. And it kept you strapped. I looked around the theater, and it's one of the few movies I've ever been to where there was people like sitting up in their seats just like tapping their feet like into it, like ready to go. Really, really nailed it and locked it down with regards to how engaging you want a movie to be. But for right now, I guess we'll probably, this seems like it'd be a, I don't know. It looks like we got some bubbles out there. I don't see any sharks or whatever. Let's see if we can maybe get below the surface a little way. Yeah, there's a big old wreck down in here. Let's go ahead and play around with this for just a minute since we don't have much else to do. I mean, we're kind of just waiting on the storm to dissipate and go away. And this one isn't that far out at sea to where I feel like I'm going to get lost or confused. I have way too many engines, so I'm going to stop bringing those back. I have way too many Band-Aids, so I don't really need that anymore either. The bucket of seawater might be useful. Little mag light right there. Up at the surface. Oh, the storm ended. Hooray. Well, it looks like Fortune has decided to be with us for just a second. I think there's also a lower door down here. The problem is that we've got that coral in the way. Another flashlight right there. Got a lantern. What's up here? Duct tape and another flashlight. Really doesn't help me that much. I will pick up the flashlights just to sort of like minimize the clutter. But let's get back up to the surface. That was actually not the best island for us. Let's go back to the island we were initially on, and I think in the next episode we'll start back up with our exploration. I do want to start building, but until I lock down a food source, there's no point really getting comfortable, because we got to go kind of like in the hierarchy of needs here. You know, make sure that we have the things we need before we start working on sort of like extra ancillary stuff. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Stranded Deep. It's a blast playing the game with all of you. I wish that I had a little bit of light right now so that I could see my measurements. But anyways, I will see you all later. Hi-do, everybody.